Hello, I'm Paul Dajcik, founder of Elastic Steel Method of Athletic Conditioning. Today I would like to demonstrate an exercise that I think will be very helpful. If you have hip injuries, if you have knee injuries, ankle injuries, even lower back potentially, from martial arts training or from dance, or you're afraid that you're going to get injured, I'm going to show you an exercise that may be something that you're looking for. Okay? The exercise is called the Cabaret Cats. For this exercise, you can use a resistant band or a resistant tube. What I have is a resistant tube. Most people, however, are going to be more comfortable with resistant band because it's going to provide more contact and not dig that deep into the muscle. Okay? The exercise looks like this. You have to attach one end and you have to keep the loop open. You're going to place your leg into the band like so. This leg is going to be on the toes. The other leg could be slightly bent or slightly straight. Okay, we're going to start with straight leg variation. What we're going to do from here is line up the supporting leg, which is this leg. The foot is exactly perpendicular to the line of the resistant band at the start of the exercise. Okay, we're going to rotate out and rotate back in. Rotate out and rotate in. I prefer for this to be above the knee. If this is a tube, if this is a band, you can place it right on the knee joint itself. Okay? So on an exhale, we rotate in. On an inhale, out. Okay? In and out. Now, the opposite movement of that would be to place the supporting foot directly in line with the band, still staying on the toes, placing the toes back by the heel, exhaling, rotating out, inhaling in, exhaling out, inhaling in. Now this exercise on this leg works the external and internal rotators of the hips, increases the range of motion, of course strengthens the muscles. The range of motion, when it's increased, it needs to be controlled and it needs to be strong. So this is what it does. Okay? Of course, it warms up for stretching of the hip as well. And that is just for the hip. Now, this hip, this knee, and the ankle and the foot on this leg, as well as the midsection, actually support the body, so they work as well. The same way you would when you're doing the movement in martial arts and in dance. And this is one option of how to do this exercise. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate the same thing on the other side. This is option 1, the first variation. Okay, so internal rotation. Notice my body is squared in the direction of the supporting foot. Okay. Now, the other end of this band is a little bit higher. Ideally, it would be at the same level. Okay? The opposite movement, supporting foot is in line, moving the toes by the heel, exhale and out, inhale and back. Now, this foot has to dig into the floor to hold, so you're working the foot muscles, okay, the muscles under the foot as well as the ankle muscles. Okay, you also work in the hip on this leg, not just on this leg. So we have the rotation in this case, as we're rotating, although it's partially horizontal extension of the hip, partially. In reality, what we're doing is we're actually rotating the hip out. Okay. Once you get very strong with this movement, you can bend the knee a little bit. Notice when this knee is bent, not only your quadriceps are going to be working to hold you up, there's going to be a little bit of rotation in the knee and stabilization going on to prevent that rotation and to control that rotation as well. Very important because although most people don't train for it, it does happen in real life. And if you don't train for it, so much more chances of it's getting injured or other muscles overcompensating. And then they're going to get injured. Okay, so with the knee bend, same thing, rotation out, okay, and rotation in. And this is the first variation of this exercise. The movement is from this hip. The second variation of this exercise, we're going to move this hip. Okay? So I'm not just going to move this leg, I'm actually going to rotate my whole body with this leg, and this hip is going to do the movement. Okay? So instead of this, my whole body rotates with this leg. So in a way now this hip is stabilizing and this hip is working. The opposite movement of that. Once again, now I have straight line with my supporting foot and I move my body. Okay, before it was this, and now my body is moving. Okay, and you're going to feel this in several places in your body. Now I recommend you get good with the first variation with a knee straight and a knee bend, and with the second variation you get really good with the leg straight before you bend that knee and attempt to rotate with this knee bend. Okay, because this knee needs to be pretty strong, all the muscles around it, the quadriceps, the hamstrings, the calves need to be pretty strong to stabilize it and prevent injury even while in training. Okay? I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. This is the second variation. I'm rotating my body with this leg. The movement is from the supporting hip. Okay? Now if you can keep it on the ball of the foot and slide, it's fine. Most people need to be on the big toe of this leg. Okay? Opposite direction. Once again, start with the knee straight. Get good. Become strong first and then do the knee bend. Now, I recommend you start with light enough resistance to do 25 repetitions and then get the resistance to be a little bit higher and a little bit stronger.